don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the 390th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. I am here, and I am here a little bit late. I am so sorry. Got in from a Muncie, what was it? Not a city council meeting. Muncie Ethics Commission meeting. First ever City of Muncie Ethics Commission meeting this evening, held at 6 p.m. in the city council chambers. Pretty interesting. It's getting ready to get underway. They're going to meet twice a month, the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month. I want you guys to look at something for a moment. I want you to look at something here. I'm going to show you. I have like 4 calendars, but I have a specific calendar on the wall that shows nothing but meetings. Okay, I want to show you. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to show you what a regular month looks like. Now, keep in mind, all of the different written things are meetings. These are meetings in different areas, like Delaware County Commissioners meeting, Randolph County Commissioners meeting, Winchester City Council, Newcastle City Council, Muncie City Council, Randolph County Council meeting, Madison County Commissioners meeting, Board of Works, Muncie, Madison County Commissioner, Board of Works, Henry County Commissioner, Sanitary District in Muncie, Henry County Council, Delaware County Redevelopment Commission, Anderson City Council, Winchester City Council, Delaware County Council, Randolph County Commissioner, Madison County Council, Newcastle, Board of Works, Muncie Redevelopment Commission, Board of Works, Muncie Sanitary, Henry County. Look at all this. This is just 1 month, and it looks like this every month. Every month looks like this. This is every line that you see is a meeting that I either attend or follow intently. So it gets a little crazy. I don't really have room for them to add much else, so please hold off. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's just me tonight. It's just me, and it's just you. Kate is a little under the weather. She flew back from her doing the thing with her boy in Washington, the state of Washington, not Washington, D.C. I always feel like I have to throw that in. And she's just kind of been blah since then. So she's a little under the weather. She's trying to get back to normal. So you guys are in the, here in the chat thing, and I apologize because I'm probably not going to put many of your chats up. We will just quickly run under. Tweety Bird's in first place. Leslie Cloud here is in second. Hello, everyone. Hope you had a good day. Tim Nickham in with what does the H stand for? The H stands for nothing. It was just like Harry S. Truman thought he needed a middle initial, so he picked one. So did I. No, it is a family name. Let's see. My grandfather's dad. Text me. Oh, wait a minute. I've got it right here. I've got it right here so I can see. I was getting ready to ask a stupid question there. This is like some kind of like early onset dementia because I should know this. I used to know this. But I want to make sure I get it all right here. Hold on here. Let me make sure I get this all right since it's, like family. Okay, no, yeah. OH. So my great-grandfather was O.H. Bilbrey, and that is Orrin, not Owen. My grandmother's been in the family for 500 years, and I think just the other day, for the first time, found out that her father-in-law's name wasn't Orrin. Owen. It's Orrin. So my great-grandfather, my grandfather's dad, was O.H. Bilbrey. Orrin Herbert Bilbrey. My grandfather is Herbert Bilbrey. Just Herbert. No Orrin. They forgot the O. So he's just Herbert Bilbrey. My dad was Herbert Dwayne Bilbrey. And I am Kristopher Herbert Bilbrey. So that's what the H stands for. That's what the deal is. Yeah. When I was a little kid, I hated it. I got to be really honest. When I was a little kid, I hated it because it sounded like an old person's name, an old man's name. And so I did literally everything I could to not let people know. I specifically went out of my way. Like I remember in elementary, like I would tell people there are people that I told I don't have a middle name. And then when I got on the police department, and I started writing my name like professionally, I would sign the tickets Kristopher H. Bilbrey, and I've just always done that. I've just always used the H, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. And I do it. I love it. Love the name. It obviously means more to me since my dad's gone. But love the name, and I do it, say it as much as possible. And that's who I am, Kristopher Herbert Bilbrey. So that is that. Thank you for the hair. Kristopher Hungry Bilbrey sometimes. Okay, so today was a day. I'm running way behind. Kate's not here. It's just us. Oh, hey, by the way, see, Kate's not here to remind me to start down below. See, you guys don't understand. you guys just see this screen right here, but I'm looking at all of this stuff in the camera and then on the computer screen, and I've got a computer screen right here, and I've got a computer screen right here. And Kate, I see a little picture of Kate down there pointing. She's like points over stuff, and she does things and puts stuff up and tells me what's happening. And secretly off camera, I'm flipping her off. Like, you guys can't see, but if she was there, I'd be flipping her off right now. But she's not there to tell me, hey, you better do the thing. So before we get started, please hit the like button, do all of that, so I don't get in trouble. Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time. We want to teach you, give you some education, help you get active and involved, yada, yada, yada. And so that's what the deal is. So this week's been a really weird week. I've told you all week long that things were going to be kind of discombobulated, and we're on track still. Tomorrow is going to be hopefully the big day where we talk about Dustin Clark and some Dustin Clark related things, and more of those invoices, and what happened at the Board of Works meeting today and in the city of Muncie, and what happened at the Ethics Committee meeting. We'll talk about all of that tomorrow. That's Thursday's Thursday show, episode 391. Tonight, though, is going to be the Indiana General Assembly review as of this point, Wednesday, February 12th, 2025. That's where we're at. That's what we're going to be focusing on. I am going to pay attention. I'm not on the comments right at this moment, but I will be on the comments in just a moment. And when I get on the comments, I will follow what's going on. I'll try to put comments up like Kate does, but I don't always get to that because I apologize. It's just not my priority. I'll be honest. I love you guys chatting in the comments and being there, and I will always answer questions in the comments and whatnot and be there. And I love it. I love it there, but I hate putting them up on the screen. I honestly don't like that. And a lot of people like that their comments get up. You guys are like part of the show, and Kate likes doing it. Brandon likes the comments being up there. People like that because you feel like you're a part of the show and whatnot. To me, it just kind of gets in the way, and it throws me off even more because, like, I get to see what you're saying, and I'm going to answer you, always answer you, whether you put stuff up there or not. But I will talk to you, but I'm probably not going to put a whole bunch of comments up just because it kind of gets crazy. Oh yeah. So real quick, before we get into the Indiana General Assembly review, Dustin is right now, and listen to this. Listen how great this is. Dustin is right now freaking out. Hold on. Let's wait for Mitch Isaacs to jump in. Mitch, are you there? Mitch, hello. So Dustin is freaking out because he has to currently be in the process of running around and somehow coming up with all of the grants that he allegedly has worked on since he's been employed in one form or another with the city of Muncie. And I'm thinking that he's not going to be able to complete that request. I also, good evening, Alva. I also have requested of those grants, how many he's actually acquired. So what I'm wanting is his batting average. How many at bats he has, how many times, how many grants has Dustin Clark attempted to apply for, write, put out, whatever he's doing there? How many has he been working on? 5, 500, 30, 3,500, 2? How many? And then I want to know how many he has received. And I have heard that he's freaking out about it. And that just makes me, don't that just beat all? That makes me so happy. Tickles me. So I love it. I'm really happy about that. And he needs to get a move on it. So Mitch, tell him he needs to get a move on it. Okay. And I'm hearing there are some questions that people are having that he's doing some weird things. The people have some questions about what he was doing out at Prairie Creek before he left. And there's a whole bunch of weird stuff going on. And I'm telling you, there was a Muncie Ethics Commission meeting tonight. There will be a second one on the 26th. And I think Dustin is sweating that. I think he's freaking out. Now, the other thing, EJAC, I love that you put this up there. Henry County people get fired up and bitch to your state officials to stop the roundabout at Raider Road. Sproles will get stuck on it and drive himself crazier than he already is. We're also going to be talking about that very topic tonight. I also, yes, Janet, I saw your message. Well, I didn't see. I saw that you sent me a message, so I'm glad that you reminded me. So I would look at this. I'm so happy that you said that. Let me pop this up and take a look. Might want to share this on the show. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me make sure what we're showing, what we're sharing. Can you tell me what it is you sent me? Oh. Wait a minute. Let me go to Denise's page. Okay, so you're going to have to do this for me. And I don't know why this is, but for one reason or another, and I love Denise. Denise and I have always gotten along, but I think at some point she thought that I was on an opposite side of her for some reason. She has me blocked. So unfortunately, I cannot get what you sent me because you've sent me something from her. So please tell Miss Denise, number one, I wish she would unblock me because I want to invite her onto the show. I would like to have her come on the show. Denise is amazing. I love Denise. I have no issues with her. I don't know why. I think she fell into a trap of listening to some negative gossip about me, because let's be honest, I'm abrasive. Okay. I'm not always nice. I tell you that. Listen, I am an asshole with sunshiny tendencies. I've asked myself this for many years. Am I somebody that is a nice, happy, sunshiny person who has asshole tendencies, or am I an asshole who has nice, sunshiny tendencies? And I have come to understand that I am the latter. And I'm someone who will help anyone in the world. I put myself in harm's way to help people. If there's an issue or problem going on, I'm going to stick my nose in it and go out of the way. If I feel that somebody is being wronged or being hurt or being incensed, and somehow I'm going to get involved. And with politics, I'll be really honest. Tim, look at this right here. Come on, you are like a package of Charmin. Yes, that's really true. But you gotta like get down. It's kind of like I don't know how many of you have ever watched. It's not pleasant, but I don't know how many of you have ever watched when the septic tank guys come. When they come and they clean out a septic tank, or you got like a clogged up septic, it's not pleasant, and they bust that and you get all this gunk and crap and stuff, and all of a sudden all that gets out of the way and you get clean water coming through. That's me. Once you get through all the shit, then I'm decent, but it takes a minute. And listen, just with politicians and elected people, my give a damn is broken. I don't have much patience to stand up there and smile. You'll get a smile and a politeness when I go up to the podium, and that's the extent of it. Then it's time to get down to business, and I don't have time to hold your hand or coddle you or try to do toxic positivity. My bosses have never in my life they don't always come to me and ask me with a smile on their face or whatever, beg me to do stuff. They just come and tell me to do things. And that's how I look at approaching elected officials. And I got to talk. We're going to talk about the Soliday, that man that ran the committee yesterday where Denise spoke. I have a bone to pick with that Soliday. That guy was out of line so many times. It's ridiculous. Hey, yeah, E-Jack, you never know. You never know, bro, when I'm going to have to get on it and row out of here and get to higher ground. That'll go with me forever. Same air in it, too. So yeah. Denise, let's see. You said you tagged me. But here's the problem. I can't see it if she has me blocked. Here's what goes on. So she has me blocked, so I cannot see anything on her wall until she unblocks me. And they don't ask me to smile, Tweety Bird, but they get mad when I don't. No, she probably doesn't even remember it. She probably doesn't even remember it, Jeanette. And I'll be honest, I think it was a long time ago. I think it was when I was in Madison County the first time. I think that we were on opposite sides of things. Let me see. I'm going to try to access it. Here's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to access it from my fake profile, and we'll see if I can access it from there. So while I'm trying to access this, let's get on with the show here. I want to first up, I'm going to talk about Senate Bill 01. Senate Bill 01. So for those of you that know or that don't know, Senate Bill 01 is the Senate bill known as the Braun property tax plan. And this is what Braun ran on after the Kendall and Casey show kind of push that on him, and which is a good thing. Wonderful. They decided to go that way. And listen, I'm going to say, believe again. Listen, I believe in my heart of hearts that Kendall went with Braun solely because of Micah, which is fine. Perfect. That's fine if he chooses to do that. But I think what's going to happen is Kendall's going to find that he's not going to get what he was hoping to get out of this. And just really strange. Kendall made a tweet earlier today calling JD Prescott my man. And it's like, oh, dude, I hope that works out for him, but I don't think it's going to. So Senate Bill 01 was being pushed, and it went to the committee. It went to the committee at 8 or 8:30. Tuesday morning. Today's Wednesday. No, it was Monday. Hell, it was Monday that it went to committee. No, it was Tuesday because it was yesterday. It was Tuesday. Man, we're all over the time. So it was Tuesday. It went, and knowing that it was going at like 8 o'clock in the morning, I knew it was not a good sign. It was like, you kind of get to a point where you see what committees they go to. When they go to certain committees, they're going there to die, or like what's happening. And knowing that it was going and it was going to be first thing in the morning, it did not bode well for this plan being pushed through. Now, things can still happen here. I just don't foresee it happening. And the reason I don't foresee anything happening here different, number one, is because we were all being told this. I put out an entire show back in July or August of 2024, where a state representative went before a county council in Henry County. Corey Criswell went before that county council down there and told them that Braun's plan was a disaster. And they asked him what the worst case scenario would be. And just so everyone's sure, you can go back and watch it. It's still there. I have not changed it. It's all there. And he said the worst case scenario is if Braun's plan passes, but it's not going to. We're going to fight. We're not going to let it happen. And Corey Criswell, I like Corey. I don't have a problem with Corey. I think Corey is too far into the JD camp. I think he falls into that, and he thinks JD's a good guy, and he thinks he's a good conservative, and he's not. We've talked about that the other night. There's a difference. JD is not a constitutional conservative. He is a Christian conservative, and I don't truly believe that he's a Christian conservative. I think that he tells people that because JD's actions go against what he tells. But I'm not here to judge him religiously. I'm just here to judge him based on politics. And it's between him and his Lord what he is religious. But I'm telling you, he is not a constitutional conservative. He's playing one on TV right now because he's buddied up with Micah and all of that. And all of that's solely based around, and this makes people mad. It makes them uncomfortable hearing this. But you need to know the truth. You need to know the truth. Look back at JD's record. Look back at what he's voted on and not voted on. Look back at what he's done. JD is not new to the House of Representatives. He's been in the State House since 2018, and he's done exactly nothing of decent anything. They're all excited today. Oh, it's good. It's good. JD's big bill went through. Oh, yay. His JD's bill went through. Congrats to my man JD Prescott getting his bill to make school board elections like every other election out of committee 9-4. And what this was JD Prescott pushed to have school board elected officials or people wanting to run have to announce if they're Republican or Democrat. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter. All these guys and gals out here have us running around believing that we're fighting a fight in Indiana against crazy, corrupt, liberal Democrats, and we're not. We're fighting against do-nothing, dumbass Republicans. Look at all of the corruption all over. How many Democrats are in charge of that? How many Democrats are in charge of what's going on at the crazy shit in Delaware County? None. What about Madison County? Olivia Pratt, Rich Wine, Gardner, Carry the Four. Oh, that's right. None. What about Randolph County? Missy Williams, Burton. Oh, that's right. None. What about Henry County? Rolls. None. East Central Indiana, none. We don't live in Indianapolis. We don't have a major Democratic problem. All of the wrong going on, if you're mad at politicians, look at the Senate Bill 01. You know who changed Braun's Senate Bill 01? Not a bunch of left crazy liberal Democrats. It's the so-called Republicans. And now people are going to be like, well, they're not really Republicans. They're the Democrats are in. I don't care. They are, if they got an R behind their name, they're Republican. And if they're part of the Republican Party right now, whether they believe it or not in their heart or whatever, they're the problem. I don't care at the local level if you're Republican or Democrat. I care if you're doing the right thing and if you're speaking and you're honest and you're willing to be a public servant. JD and they've got all these people fooled. These people are worried about the wrong crap. Yay, we're going to know what's in someone's heart if they got an R behind their name. How many people out there call half the Republican Party rhinos? So what does it matter that JD accomplished getting people will know? Oh, good. We're going to finally know if they're Republicans or Democrats. What does that matter? Who cares? You mean to tell me this just so someone can blindly go in and press a straight ballot R and they can win? That's what we're doing? Where's the fight to get straight? Where are we going to get straight ticket voting beat here in Indiana this year? No. Are we going to get term limits? No. We're not doing things that are actually going to help citizens. Are we doing anything to fight gatekeeper politics? No. Hey, look, Denise Spooner unblocked me and sent me a friend request. Thank you, Denise. I don't know. Listen, I'm not mad at all. I think what happened is long time ago, I think there may have been some wrong wires crossed, but I'm not mad. No big deal. I get it. And I am happy. Now I can see what Jeanette has been sending me. So goody. So, Senate Bill 01. A bunch of Republicans are responsible for killing it. That's just how it goes. Because they didn't like Braun. They don't like Beckwith. Braun and Beckwith don't really like each other. And we have a massive problem. The people that are in charge in Indiana are called the HRCC. Todd Houston. And until we can destroy the HRCC, which is the political PAC that funds, let me explain to you. It's the political PAC that funded $1 million to beat John Jacobs. It's the political PAC that funded all of the money, the $750,000, $750,000, 4/4, the $1 million or the 4/4 that makes up the $1 million to beat Kurt Knisley. That's the HRCC. Because let me tell you something. Kurt Knisley was and is an actual conservative constitutionally minded person. And they did whatever they could to railroad him. That's why I know J.D. Prescott is not. Because they bend over backwards to give him money. They bent over backwards and gave J.D. all this money in 2022 to beat Brittany Clower. She nearly destroyed him. And she was on a shoestring campaign. She was on, common sense. She destroyed JD in a debate. He wouldn't meet her, won't talk to her. He doesn't talk to constituents. He's concerned about what Todd Houston tells him. That's his master. That's not constitutionally conservative. So we are in a place where we are not dealing with truth here. And it's going to continue hurting us. We're the ones that get hurt, the everyday citizens. So I want you guys to see this for a minute here. I'm going to put this up, and I'm going to go back and look at your comments here in just a second. Give me a second. Then while I'm playing this, here in a minute when I get to 1628's when I'm going to look at the Denise Spooner stuff. So right now we are in the Senate. We are in Senate tax and this is the tax and fiscal policy. So give me a second here and we'll get this up so you guys can see a little bit of it here. Here's Travis Holdman. He is the state senator of 19, District 19. Okay, let's play this.
This morning. Sorry. First up this morning, we'll try to take the bills in order as we're published, but we've got some members needing to come and go for other committees, so we may just move around the agenda as we need to make sure the folks are present for their presentation. Senate Bill 1, Property Tax Relief Bill, is an amend and vote only. We have amendment number 17 that was sent out to the public this morning already. We have worked extensively with the governor's office to get this to a good spot. We just think there's a fine line that we have to walk to make sure that we are careful to be responsible to the local units of government, at the same time provide some relief to taxpayers. And you'll see this morning as we work through the outline of the bill that the people we heard most from were people over 65 and disabled veterans. And so we're working to try to provide the most relief to those folks. The fiscal note on this is just shy of $300 million in the first year, growing to about $800 million in year 3. So with that, we'll take a look at amendment number 17. And first of all, it requires the DLGF to develop and maintain a property tax transparency portal that allows taxpayers to compare their current tax bill with potential changes under proposed tax rates and provides taxpayer feedback to DLGF and local units. And we ask that the DLGF make the portal available no later than January 1st of 2026. And with that, I'll ask Senator Buchanan to highlight Senate Bill 8 that's being moved into this bill and other pieces of the referenda timeline in question. Senator Buchanan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 8 really highlights on the referendum process and particularly with schools, and we have expanded it to all units, local units of government. And a couple key points here that it does. One is requires referendums to happen on November of even numbered years when more the voter participation. 2 is required a levy-based referendum where it's really, you can have your rate, but we need to know how many dollars you're trying to raise and be upfront with the voters when it comes to a levy-based. The ballot questions, there are some revisions to the ballot questions trying to make sure they're very practical and straightforward with the voters as far as what they're asking for. There are cooling off periods, and they say a cooling off period is where you can not renew a referendum back to back. So say one ends and then another one starts immediately after that. There is some provisions in there, but we did give an exemption for a school operating referendum and a school safety referendum, which would basically, a school could do that. Several concerns was brought up with schools who use a operating referendum to help pay teachers. And that is a reason we do not have the cooling off to operating in school safety referendums. So with that, happy to answer any questions regarding this referendum process, but that is it in a few bullet points in a nutshell.
Yes, members' questions. Senator Randolph.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The safety and operate, is that an exception to the cooling off period?
Yeah, that cooling off period does not apply to school safety and operating referendum for schools.
Okay, so the cooling off period is a year's period or what?
It's 1 year, yes.
1 year. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Other questions from members of the committee? Next up is the debt limit provisions. It requires a 1-year waiting period on school control project referenda.
So they're going through all of this. They go through all this for a while. And
the year after 2%.
Unless you've read the specific amendments they're talking about, none of this really means anything. They're just talking about what they're putting in.
Thank you, Chairman Holman and members of the committee. This is what I heard most this year is from folks that are over 65 as well as veterans.
Hey, listen here.
So this part of the amendment addresses that. For the totally disabled veteran or veteran with at least 62 with a disability of 10% or more, it increases the maximum amount of deduction from $14,000 to $20,000, changes the AV limit from $240,000 to $300,000. And then when it comes to the over 65 deduction and credit,
the middle guy is Travis Holdman.
Limit to $60,000.
Oh, the solar meeting.
A single
we'll get there
filer,
in a minute.
which was originally $30,000. And then for a joint filer, $70,000, and that originally was $40,000.
Outspent her 20 times, yes.
And it changes the AV limit also, like the veterans, from $240,000 to $300,000. And it increases the maximum deduction from $14,000 to $20,000. And in both cases, both the veteran and the seniors, it provides that the AV threshold amount will be adjusted each year by the median home price sale price as determined each month by the DLGF using the National Association of Realtors. So this will increase as property values increase. The AV limit is going to increase for both seniors and for veterans. So thank you and happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Senator Rogers? Senator Rogers, do you want to talk about the optional county property tax deferral program?
Sure. In Senate Bill 1, we've included the language from Senate Bill 6 that sets up a process for a homeowner to defer some of their property taxes. This is an optional program that may be adopted by the county fiscal body, and they can set up their own criteria for participation, such as age, income, or assessed value. If a county adopts the property tax deferral program, the minimum amount that a homeowner may defer each year is $100, and the maximum is $500, and the total amount that can be deferred on the home is $10,000. All property taxes deferred under this program become a lien on the property, and it is due and payable when the property is transferred or when the property ceases to be used as the individual's principal place of residence. At no time can the total outstanding debt, liens, and principal balance exceed the excess value of the home. The DLGF will prepare a loan application agreement that counties can use, and the county treasurer will manage the program. If there are any recording fees, they will be paid by the homeowner. And the county may choose to charge interest on the outstanding balance. However, that interest cannot exceed 4%. So this program is designed to allow homeowners to stay in their home when for some reason they are having difficulty paying their property taxes. So happy to answer any questions.
Senator Niemeyer.
Senator Rogers, the money that's deferred, when this lien is paid off, each taxing district gets their money back that was deferred, like townships, schools, or whatever. How is that paid out when the lien's paid? I mean, is it divided the way it should have been? I mean, they took $500 off their tax bill, let's say, for a deferral. So when they build up 10,000 in there, said 10,000 lien is paid off. How is that lien paid back to the taxing districts?
Well, it's paid off based on what that percentage should be at the time of the deferral.
Yep. All right, we're going to jump forward here.
Please.
Well, it's just whenever, as an example, if you have a mortgage on your property, it creates a lien on that property that has to be paid if the property is transferred. And it would be the same for this property tax deferral. It would be a lien on the property. So when the property is sold, then that lien would have to be satisfied.
Does it say county may create a lien, or does it say shall create a lien?
Well, they would have to create a lien.
So lien is automatic then?
Lien has to be automatic.
Doing anything at all?
Yes.
Notice is sent to the homeowner at that point in time, once that lien has been automatically kicks in?
Yeah.
They've signed an agreement that
Right.
DLGF will provide that when they sign the agreement, it becomes the lien on the property and that's
Yes.
recorded then. So,
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
other questions? Yes, Senator Niemeyer, excuse me.
Real quick. I just want to, off Senator Garden's comment, he's absolutely right, but I want to give a shout out to one of my counties, Lake County, that I represent.
Yeah, it goes through this.
Discussion.
Briefly, Mr. Chair, I just, again, I would like to
Oh, well, excuse me. We'll take it by consent. Can we take it by consent? We have an amended bill. Will the committee?
Move the bill as amended.
Second. Discussion.
briefly, Mr. Chair, I just, again, I would like to thank the chair and members of the committee on working on this bill. I think we were initially dealing with a bill that had almost a $1.2+ billion impact to the locals. I think the amendment in a thoughtful way reduces that concern. And the way that it's structured.
Of course, because local government can never spend at where it should be. They always need to be doing things more than. Dan's been freaking out because he's been thinking, oh my God, we're going to have to actually be a little bit more frugal and not just be spending like a bunch of freaks that has a bottomless pocketbook. Like, you know, it would not hurt local officials to have to tighten things up a little bit and be a little bit more conservative with the spending. But we're all too worried about that. So here we are.
It's really impacting growth in the future, not taking money, existing dollars from local communities as we speak today. So as far as my concern with public safety and fire services and other local services, at least that money is still there for localities to provide these services. I'm very pleased with the fact that the amendment improves the bill. There are a few concerns that I still have with the amended bill. I will reserve my right to change my vote as we move forward through this process, because this is just the first step. Today, I'll be opposing the bill because of a couple of provisions in the bill that impact our schools, and also to understand the impact to school district by school district. And finally, later today, we'll be voting in this committee most likely on Senate Bill 518, which also impacts sharing of property taxes with schools. So as of now, we don't have the full understanding of the impact to our schools between Senate Bill 1 and Senate Bill 518. And until we have the fiscal, I can't make a conscious decision to take money away from the locals. So I appreciate, again, Mr. Chair, I'm very grateful for the progress that has been made on this. And as we continue the process, I look forward to supporting this, this bill as we understand better the impact of other legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Hunley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you to all the members of the committee who
they're all going around telling why they're going to vote or why they're not going to vote.
These folks, 500.
This is a recommit.
We missed the vote. Hold on here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Other comments or discussion? My apologies for the confusion with not taking by consent, because the amendment is as large as the original bill itself. So with that, call the roll.
Here we go.
Senator Kadora?
No.
Senator Hunley?
No.
Senator Niskoski?
No.
Senator Randolph?
In looking at the bill, there's an improvement over the original bill, but there's still some major concerns I have. But the very fact there's an improvement, I'm say yes at this point in time.
One yes.
With understanding on the second reading, might consider changing my mind in reference to that. But I'd like to see a more improvement concerning the issues that I've raised originally first time when the bill was brought before the committee and everything. So at this point in time, I'm going to say yes, based upon the fact that it is an improvement over the original bill.
Senator Baldwin?
Aye.
Senator Buchanan?
Aye.
Senator Garten?
Aye.
Senator Gaskell?
Yes.
Senator Johnson?
Yes.
Senator Niemeyer?
Yes.
Senator Rogers?
Yes.
Senator Walker?
Explain my vote, Mr. Chairman. I just want to thank the committee and the chairman for what I think is a very balanced amended bill. This provides real meaningful property tax relief, particularly for homestead owners, controls future growth, and has enhancements for both seniors, veterans, and first-time homeowners. And so proud to vote yes.
Chairman Holden?
Chair votes.
10.
Bill moves to the floor 10-3.
10-3. So it's going to
Thank
the
you
floor.
all.
And here's what happens. So these people are now at fault for voting on this gutted bill, the bill that was not what was put forward, because they completely weaned out on doing the right thing. And, that sucks. And so just FYI, so we all are aware, we have the following people to blame for this: Travis Holdman, Scott Baldwin, Brian Buchanan, Ed Carbonaro, Mike Gaskell, Ryan Mishler, Rick Niemeyer, Linda Rogers, Greg Walker, and Kyle Walker. And, they are, to blame for pushing this forward this way. So, it sucks. It is what it is, but that's where we're at. So, hopefully there will be more. The Indy Capital Chronicle says Senate property tax relief drops main portions of Governor Braun's plan. Senators would tighten school referendums and introduce a credit for first-time home buyers. Senate Republicans on Tuesday backed away from the most significant parts of Governor Mike Holcomb's property tax cut proposal, which I've been telling you was going to happen since May of last year, since before Braun even put forward a property tax plan. Maybe like the day after Braun won the primary, man. Instead, their version of relief includes tightening requirements for schools to advance certain referendums, limiting how much property tax levies can grow, and introducing credit for first-time buyers. The cost to units of government would be just shy of $300 million in the first year, according to the author. 3 Democrats voted against the measure, citing the lack of relief for renters and uncertain impacts on school. It moved out of the committee on a 10-3 vote. An amendment struck large portions of Governor Mike Bruan's property tax relief proposal, including the annual 3% cap on the growth of property tax bills. Senior citizens, families with children, and low-income Hoosiers had growth capped at 2% under Braun's plan. It also removed increased deductions for homeowners. Overall, Braun's plan would have resulted in an immediate 21% reduction in average homeowner tax bill. Under the new Senate proposal, taxpayers would see a $1.4 billion in savings over the next 3 years. Braun's plan would have saved $1.1 billion in its first year and $1.6 in its third year. So it's cut it, pretty drastically. Senator Travis Holdman, who authored Senate Bill 1, introduced the amended version in committee on Tuesday. Pulling back on Braun's plan lessened the hit on local units of government, which rely on property taxes to pay for services like law enforcement, parks, libraries, and fire safety. We have worked constantly with the governor's office to get this to a good spot. So now my question is, how much of this was Braun okay with? And the answer is, if we do not hear Braun throwing an absolute living fit over this, then he must be thrown out on his ass at the end of his 4 years. He should not seek re-election. He should not be reelected. This whole thing is going to be a joke. And what kills me is you have people like Rob Kendall that are calling this a win for Braun. Well, Braun tried to do what he said he would do, and that's it. Nah, bullshit. They put up a smoke and mirrors ordeal here. They put up this thing. Look, I'm being big on it. I'm telling you what I'm going to do. Meanwhile, everyone else in government told you it ain't happening. It's not going to happen. The only people fooled by this, I think, was Rob Kendall. I don't understand. They thought it was going to happen, I guess. That's nuts. Asleep, man. Asleep, if that's really the case. It's totally crazy. We've worked consistently with the governor's office to get this to a good spot. Well, if the governor and if Holden thinks that this is a good spot, then that's a problem. We just think there's a fine line that we have to walk to make sure that if we are careful, to be responsible to local government and at the same time provide some tax relief. Okay. In a statement, Braun's office said the plan took steps in the right direction, but said he would continue to work with legislators on the administrative priority. The governor will carefully review the changes to his plan and looks forward to working with the House and Senate to strengthen the amended bill to include broad-based and immediate property tax cuts for Hoosier homeowners who have been hit the hardest by skyrocketing home values. Bullshit. Provisions in the state plan. The wide-ranging amendment introduced the bill restricts school referendums to general election ballots and even-numbered years. Schools also can't introduce such questions in back-to-back years, though there are exceptions for funding teacher salaries or school safety measures. Much of the language mirrors Senate Bill 8, authored by Senate Brian Buchanan. Buchanan said that referendums would need to include the total amount of money that would be raised by levying a property tax. There are some revisions to the ballot question in trying to make that the very practical and straightforward for the voter. Buchanan said Republican senators also opted to incorporate provisions from Senate Bill 9 into their property tax relief proposal, which freezes the maximum levy growth quotient for 2026 and then caps it for the following 2 years. The maximum levy growth quotient currently limits how much local property tax levies can raise in a year based on a 6-year rolling average of non-farm personal income growth. Because of inflation, it rose to 5% in 2023 compared to the 3.4% in 2019. Lawmakers last year put in an artificial cap of 4%, when without the cap, the maximum would have been 5.5, according to the Indiana Office of Management and Budget. The amended bill would freeze it for 2026, and then it would increase 1% in 2027 and 2% in 2028. Previously, local units of government could petition to exceed that cap, but they would no longer have that option. Instead, they can place it before the voters in a ballot question. Senator Linda Rogers R. of Granger described a new method for counties to provide individual property relief through a payment deferral program she authored under Senate Bill 6. That process is coupled with the deductions for disabled veterans and seniors. This is an opportunity for them to be able to help homeowners that may be going through some difficult times, and maybe a senior or a veteran that is disabled on a fixed income, Roger said. I wonder if J.D. Prescott, when this reaches the House, if he's going to vote no on this, because J.D. in the past has voted no on cutting taxes for seniors, and he's voted no on cutting taxes for veterans. JD doesn't seem to like veterans. Matter of fact, he said he did not want to make them a special class. So that's why he voted no. So I'm going to be interested to see what everyone's new main man, JD Prescott's going to do, because if he lines up with what he's done in the past, conservative Prescott is going to cut or say no to this bill because he doesn't want to help disabled veterans. Remember, that's the man who makes Beckwith think of a D-Day soldier. That's however laughable that is. Homeowners will have the option to defer $500 of the property income tax annually until their home is sold. However, it is unclear how many counties will opt in to create such a program. Finally, the bill introduces a first-time home buyer tax credit for first in Indiana. The credit assists those with incomes of up to $75,000 buying a property that costs up to $250,000. Qualified individuals can get a $2,500 credit for the 5 years after purchase. Initial reaction. Indiana Capital Chronicle reached out to a handful of local organizations to get initial reaction to the amended bill. One individual speaking on behalf of the Indiana Association of School Business Officials noted that the new version lessened the negative impact on school corporations and other local government units, but flagged concerns for educators. The new cap on levy growth will significantly reduce property tax collected over the next 3 years, which impacts budgets for local schools. Additionally, schools will be prohibited from issuing new general obligation bonds for 2 years after a current bond expires, he said. Many school corporations use this procedure on an annual basis to supplement their operating fund. Regarding school referendums, we appreciate the revised language, making it more understandable for voters, and that school operating and safety referendums will not be subject to the newly created 1-year cooling off period before other referendums could be proposed. Another entity called it an improvement from the original version. David Bottorff with the Association of Indiana Counties highlighted the relief included for veterans, senior citizens, and first-time homebuyers. His organization also supports limiting referendums to even-numbered years, which have higher turnout. He said the zero levying growth for 2026 and the limits below inflation growth for 2027 and 2028 is a concern, as locals will have to increase expenses and operations for utilities, healthcare for employees, criminal justice, road maintenance, and other critical government functions. Various other bills, including ones on personal property tax and assessed values for agricultural land, could further erode county revenues, leaving governments with fewer resources. Matt Greller, the chief executive officer of Advancing Indiana Municipalities, said he looked forward to working with both lawmakers and Braun's team to finalize the bill. Future conversations could include possible replacement source of shortfalls, Greller said. It doesn't serve Hoosier taxpayers well to overhaul the current system in a manner that does more harm than good. An unbalanced approach represents the worst possible outcome for taxpayers and the governmental units they rely on for safe, livable, affordable, and well-maintained and well-appointed appointed communities, he concluded. The bill now moves to the full Senate for further consideration. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And again, it will be interesting to see what happens when we move to the House. I don't think it's going to be any good. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. Okay, now from here, let's move on to also the extremely disappointing situation with House Bill 1628. I don't know if any of you actually had the displeasure of watching this situation unfold yesterday. I actually watched this unfold live, and I will tell you, while I was live streaming this, and while Representative Soliday was making an absolute ass of himself, I was calling his office and griping to his legislative assistant and talking about what an absolute a-hole he is. I think that he is just, I don't know if he's grouchy. I don't know if his hemorrhoids were hurting. I think that the way that he came across to his employers was absolutely gross and sick. I guess by the way that he spoke that he is an attorney, and there is nothing more I hate than an attorney who looks down their nose on literally every other person in the world who isn't an attorney, and he is one of those people. It is sickening. It is absolutely sickening to me that when a citizen stood up and was speaking at the podium and talking about constitutional matters, he stopped her to ask if she was a constitutional lawyer. And I'm so happy that she said, no, but I have the book. I have the text. No, but I can read. I love that answer. That is an amazing answer. Anytime someone asks you a stupid ass question like that. That's why being educated is important. You have to be educated on the matters because you have to be able to stick it to somebody when they're going to treat you like that. Okay. And I'm so happy that she pushed back. Okay. So this is the live stream on Indiana House Bill 1628. The last thing we were looking at was a Senate bill. We were at the state Senate. Now we're moving over to the other side of the General Assembly. There's the two sides, right? It's the Indiana State House. They're the state representatives. There are 100 of them. And then in the state Senate, there are 50 state senators. And so now we're going over to the House, and this isn't the full House, or that wasn't the full Senate. These are just committees. After these committee votes, they go on to the actual full Senate or the full House. So what we're actually looking at here is a committee, the Utilities, Energy, and Telecommunications Committee, and they are meeting to discuss the Senate bill 1628 is what we're going to be watching. But I want you guys to hear some of this. I want you to hear some of his beginning back for some unknown reason, some of his beginning conversation.
Signed up to testify. Is anybody here for 1459 that has not signed up? Okay, good. So if you have cell phones, it's a $3,000 fine if your cell phone goes off. If you're a lawyer, it's $6,000. So, Jake, so we've never collected the fine, but
yes, this is Tweety Bird. This is your guy. Yes,
also,
he was.
And I don't think, looking at the audience, I have to worry about it. We have in the past, but there's no cheering, there's no booing, and most of all, there's no insulting of people's character. I won't put it up with it from the committee. I certainly won't from a witness. If you attack someone's character, you're done. And I have some folks that have.
We're not listening to a bunch of them.
Help you understand it. So, I was in an energy committee meeting some 12 years ago, which wound up in a fist fight. I wasn't chairman, but it ain't happening on my watch. So anyway, I know I don't have to warn you, but we have had some folks get very, very frisky. And somebody has a Facebook thing that says she says I'm a dirtbag, which is fine. I always like intellectual argument to get things done. So Harry Truman once said, politics is a game of friends. You're making all the enemies you can make just by getting elected. So there aren't too many names I haven't been called.
I wish I would have been here.
Anyway,
because he literally stopped stopped testimony at one point to tell someone to put their phone down. I guess they were taking a picture. And I'm telling you, if I would have been there, I would have come unglued, because they are fully aware. They are in the same building as Luke Britt, and it is clearly okay to take pictures of them, to record them. He says, I think he says, put the phone down. This isn't a circus. And I'm like, yeah, it is, because you're either the clown or the ass. I'm not really sure, but oh man, I'm telling you, it's been a long time since I've been at the right place when something like that happens, because that is not something that I would go well with, because I would immediately pick my phone up and I would have him tell me, and then it would be on.
If you aspire to this, get used to being called names. It's
the way it is. It's
like third grade.
Yay.
So, buy some candles, because we're not going to be able to meet the demand. So all of us are trying to. So
yeah, listen to this.
Go from there. Hopefully that's enough.
Thank you. It's a chairman's amendment, so I'll take responsibility for it. Thank you, Representative Snow. One of the difficult things, nobody gets everything they want when they come to the State House. And government works when there's give and take on both sides. And when you try to define what the problem is you're trying to solve, and try to find solutions to that problem that either make everybody equally unhappy or sort of happy. And I think I've been working on this with others for 6 years. And it's not because I like wind or solar. Personally, I like 2,000 gerbils and a treadmill.
I bet you do.
They're nice little creatures, and you can pet them when they're not running on the treadmill. but we need energy supply. The demand is growing. Now, maybe not for Indiana. Counties are voting down data centers. It's almost weekly. And there'll be, with onshoring, there'll be trip centers, and I'm sure they'll be voting those down. And people say, why is my county shrinking? Well, because the kids go to college and they get a degree and there's no job in their county, so they move on. But gee, why is my county shrinking? And they're running out of money, and they vote down tax resources. They're significant. Town in my community voted down a data center. Every single property owner taxes would have been reduced by 52%. They didn't like the noise once a month for 10 minutes to test the backup generators, which was 40 decibels. A friend of mine had a sleep test. He's 72 decibels when he snores. I told him, you just been zoned out of that town, man. You can't move there. So the new populism, how to deal with it, how to keep our state competitive. There are waves. When the steel industry came in, a lot of steel mills were built, and then it went dead for 50 years. So right now, there's a lot of demand for data centers, and which give you a good tax base, make noise for 10 minutes a month, but we don't want them. So trying to find something, some common ground. $50 billion worth of new business wants to come to Indiana. $50 billion. They want renewable energy. Why? Not because they're woke, because they want to sell to a market that wants a reduced carbon footprint. That's what the market is. That's why they're asking for it. And maybe we should just tell them, not here. We want to be an agricultural tourist state. And maybe that's what we should tell them. But sooner or later, we've got to move past this and decide who we want to be and where
Didn't
the
you just hear
limits of
that?
local control. If we're going to have 92 counties, 276 county commissioners set energy policy for the state, buy some candles, because we're not going to be able to meet the demand. So all of us are trying to, so we've had a group of 300 people
Yes,
travel
Janet,
the state, and
you're
they
correct.
have a website. And I mentioned last week, very few of you know
Yes, he
that
did.
windmills cause
He
children to
did.
be mean.
Yeah.
Mine were born that way. They never saw a windmill. So windmills or not, you're still going to have to discipline your kids and so forth. So this is no easy thing. And I spent the weekend trying to find some common ground. But it's never enough.
I would like to know what
about
he,
power.
I mean, what does he mean by that? That's
But it's also about, do our kids stay here? So here's the amendment. Whether we will vote this bill or not is still up there. I fortunately can live anywhere in the world I want to live, so we can do whatever we want to do with it.
Jesus.
We've done a number of things to try to reach a balance of joint governance over these issues. So the first thing in the amendment, it says that you can't use more than 2% of a county's land for renewables unless the county governing agency and the petitioner agree to use more land. Now, in our smallest county, that's about 1,000 acres. In the larger ones, it'll be up to 8. But 2% of the land. Then there is a second restriction, and that's on farmland. The federal government rates farmland from 1 to 8, the very best being 1, the very worst is an 8. We've said you cannot put solar farm on 1, 2, 3, and 4, but you can on 5, 6, 7, and 8. But if the county commissioners want to, and some of our counties recognize they're in financial trouble and need the tax base. So let me tell you what they pay for an acre of solar
I'm going to
is
jump forward here.
significantly more, and I wrote the bill, is significantly more than what they pay for an acre of farmland. And some of our counties have been saved. We do need, my faithful lawyer to my left says we need to make a couple technical corrections, and I will make that a chairman's motion, but they are code sites,
So we start off with some people that are obviously anti the bill.
Excuse me. I want to say that, Chairman Holiday, I appreciate your,
it's Soliday, by the way. Never mind.
Soliday.
Yeah, it's Soliday, by the way. And then when the guy was like, "What?" and he's like, "Never." Well, why even do that? Like, are you that important that it matters? Like, let's roll, dude. For real?
How you have, say you spent your weekend trying to find, is it not on?
No, you have to have a red light. There's a button there to push.
How do I turn on a red light down here?
Mhm.
Light, got a red light. Got it. Okay. Well, I appreciate all of the time that has been spent on trying to figure out what's best. My role, as it has been for the last 7 terms that I've been a commissioner for Carroll County, is to represent those people. And when we began to have wind companies and solar companies coming in and looking at the purchasing or acquiring property in Carroll County, we realized that our zoning was not capable of handling it. Our area plan had not been structured for that. So we began a process to try to come up with something to be correct for it. We held 4 major meetings, which we asked for the opinions of the people, just like you're doing right now. And we had between 350 and 400 people show up for every one of those meetings, which for us is very good. What I can tell you is that if I said 90% of the people are all on one side of this, as far as Carroll County people, there'd be some who would say, you're stretching it. But the truth is that I'm probably running it short. More than 90% of the people of Carroll County do not want wind and solar. They are very appreciative of our natural resources, of our Wabash River, of our Tippecanoe River, of the major creeks that we have, of the beauty of our county, and they do not want it blemished by these huge wind towers. I've heard it said that we're just old fuddy-duddies and don't know what's going on. I think that depends on where you live, and as far as us not being one that would allow new things, we allow lots of new things. We have lots of new industry. We're a growing county. We're a prosperous county. We're building a $26 million jail, which we'll probably within a couple of years have to add on to. Many of you know those problems. Anyway, I wanted you to know, and I don't want to take up all your time because I know you got a lot of people out here wanting to talk, but to think that our area plan, our careful planning and everything should be overridden, I think it's a mistake. And I think it's a mistake in every county. Yes. You're going to find differences of opinion, but that is the will of our people. And so, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to sit now, but I want you to know that overwhelmingly, the people of Carroll County do not want wind and solar in their county. Thank you.
Questions for the witness? Seeing Representative Wesco, you're moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Connie Ehrlich.
Okay, and we're not going to listen to
Folks,
everything.
we need to limit ourselves to 4 minutes because we still have a lot of
I'm just going to give
looks
you.
like we're going to be coming in this evening. So,
Good night, Alva.
Connie Ehrlich. Okay. I don't see her. Kevin Walls.
I'm just going to let you guys hear some pieces of all of this, and we're going to play a couple of the.
You knew you shouldn't have stepped out, right?
I went over to the next door to listen to it. Sorry.
A couple of the different things, and then I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about that thing that Denise that I've got. I'm going to put up what Denise.
From Johnson County, we appreciate the amendment that was just put forth. It cleared up a lot of things for us. We do work with solar companies within Johnson County with REMCs.
And that's great.
We've worked with 2 different solar fields they put in, and I've dealt with
That's
another
wonderful.
500-acre field.
If you are a county
in queue right now.
that wants this and wants to do this, and you have the area and you have the people, wonderful. I am not saying that Indiana should not be a solar or wind turbine state. I'm saying do not take away local control home rule. That is nonsensical that they could think that that would be a good idea, because 10 people, 50 people, 150 people sitting their asses in their chairs in Indianapolis, people who've never been out of downtown Indianapolis, people who that's where they live their life, and they vacation at Fort Myers and they go fishing in Michigan, but they don't live in Kosciuszko County. They don't go fishing on Wallace Lake, Barbie, Lake Wawasee, all that stuff. The people who don't live down by Nashville, Indiana, there's no way they can have an understanding of what's good for those people in those places. We need local control. We need home rule. And the people that elect the elected officials in their local areas need to be able to control what goes on, because it's much easier to send messages and to talk and to get people into your county commissioners meeting than it is to try to shut shit down when you're sending it to the state house and you got to get people down there to testify. You know, it's not hard to cram 500 people in a Delaware County courthouse, Delaware County Justice Center, if something big is going on. But you're not going to get that many people to drive to Indianapolis. It's just not, that does not happen. You know, it's just, this is nonsensical. And they do not deserve this power. We do not want them to have this power. They should not have this power. They shouldn't even be able to vote. This shouldn't even be able to thing they should be able to do. Okay? So it's just crazy that this is something that it's legitimately being talked about. And it's like year in and after year after year after year. They're just not going to stop until they get it jammed through. That's what's scary.
Now I don't know where it's going with the landowners.
Not another group. Okay. So we as a people have spoken. When we've heard discussions and testimony earlier, it's about how to get around those people who are protesting. Those people are the people you represent. And that's why it says in front of these things, representatives. You represent the people, and the people of your area have spoken. You're not a very good representative if you don't heed what they're saying.
You polled in my area? Have you polled?
No, sir. I'm going by the news. The news says that it was voted down in your area. In our area, I know I'm from Carroll County. We've put it down completely. But it's not about whether we want renewables. The issue is whether we have the right to decide.
That is the issue.
We're the ones who have to live.
What are the limits?
What are our limits?
Yeah.
We went and put in limits that some.
Where are your limits? No. Where are your limits, sir? That's what this is about. Where are your limits? Representative Soliday
kiboshed the whole thing. Okay, but most of it came from a real genuine concern of safety. Okay, you have over 120 gallons of oil in the top of those towers.
Seeing none, thank you. Connie Ehrlich. Yvonne Cook.
Here we go. Listen to this.
Good morning, Chairman Soliday and members of the committee. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today. I'm Yvonne Koch, and I represent Boone County Republican Women's Club and the Indiana Federation of Republican Women, organizations dedicated to responsible governance and protecting the rights of Indiana citizens. We stand in firm opposition to HB 628. Because it undermines local control, silences communities, and violates the Indiana Constitution. This.
You a constitutional lawyer?
Okay, so she's reading a statement. She's trying to be respectful of their time. She's trying to explain how she feels, and she's talking about taking away local control, home rule, and we've not even gotten all the way through her speech. So how do we know what she's getting ready to say? He interrupts her because she dares to bring up the Constitution. So only Soliday is allowed to bring up the Constitution? Surely he's aware that she has a First Amendment right. That's in that Constitution, right, Representative Soliday? She has a First Amendment right to speak, correct? Which she's utilizing, and he stops her to ask if she is a constitutional attorney. To hell with that, man. That is he boiled my blood, and it's still happening. It's amazing.
I'm not.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Great point you made
But
there.
I do have the book.
Yes.
So this bill takes away the.
I love her
the
laugh.
ability of
I love
counties,
that
towns, and
woman.
cities to
I don't-
regulate major infrastructure
Someone said she's
projects,
watching.
including
She's
power
my hero.
plants, transmission lines, pipelines, and gas storage facilities. Instead, it gives exclusive authority to the state,
Yes,
cutting local governments
Cheryl.
and citizens out of the decision-making process. In the Indiana Constitution, Article 1, Section 25 clearly states that the General
What's her
Assembly
name?
cannot grant
How do you spell her
unchecked
last name?
power beyond what is explicitly outlined in law. HB 1628 does exactly that. It removes the oversight that local governments have always had and prevents communities from protecting their homes, businesses, and farmlands. If this bill becomes law, companies will no longer need local permits, zonings, approvals, or community input before moving forward with large-scale industrial projects. There will be no public hearings, no opportunity for residents to express their concerns, no way for local officials to intervene, even if a project threatens property values, public safety, or the environment. Imagine waking up to find a high-voltage transmission substation, gas storage facility, or industrial energy project being built next to your home, your business, or your child's school without knowledge.
What's this lady's
without a
last
vote,
name?
without no way to stop it. That is the reality this bill creates. Beyond silencing communities, HB 628 also weakens protections for the stormwater runoff and flood control, leaving local communities and governments unable to regulate new developments that could lead to flooding and water contamination. So the question is, who benefits from this? Not the people from Indiana. This bill serves corporate developers and special interests, not homeowners, small businesses, or farmers. Prioritizes expedient approvals and corporate profits over the rights of the citizen who have spent their entire lives building their communities. Indiana has long followed home rule authority, the principle that local government should have the power to govern their own affairs. 1628 completely dismantles that principle. It tells Hoosiers that their voice does not matter when it comes to what happens in their own backyards. Every legislator here took an oath to uphold the Indiana Constitution and defend the rights of their constituents. Supporting HB 1628 is a direct violation of that oath. We urge you to reject this bill and stand with the people of Indiana.
Questions? Yes, Representative Wesco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Cook, you mentioned the Indiana Federation of Republican Women. Are you speaking on behalf of the Indiana Federation of Republican Women? Has the organization taken an official position on this bill?
Yes.
They've met and taken a position.
I spoke with the president. Yes.
So just a couple questions. So since you're a constitutional, well-read in the Constitution, can you tell me, does it address property rights? The rights of the farmer?
God.
Property owner?
It's what it does. It takes away the power from the people. So if the state is coming in control, I am not a constitutional attorney.
No. You've dropped the Constitution. You've said we're violating our oath. that we
Okay.
took, which quite frankly is insulting.
No,
I don't
sir.
mean to insult
It's
you.
not
Oh, yes,
insulting.
you do. When you say that this group is violating the oaths they took, I don't violate oaths.
Okay. So Article 1, Section 25 says, no law shall be passed, the taking effect which shall be made to depend on any authority except as provided in this Constitution. So this section states that the General Assembly cannot grant powers beyond what is expressly outlined in law.
Where does local control come from? Is it in the Constitution? It is not.
He is way out of line here. This is beyond. This is insane. He got his feelings hurt, and he got his pee-pee slapped here a little bit, and now he's hurt, and he's striking out at her. This is way out of line. This is extremely unprofessional. This is not about the bill. He's not questioning her on parts of the amendment or parts of the bill. He is trying to bully her. And it's disgusting. And he's out of line. And he and I are going to talk about this. And I've told you all, and I promise, I've been carrying for the last, my days are running together. I can't remember when this was. If this was yesterday, there was one today. I guess it was yesterday. Ever since this happened and I placed that phone call, I've been carrying 2 phones with me because when he calls me, I am going to chew his ass out, and I'm going to record it, and we're going to play it on here for you all because he and I are going to talk about this because I think it's disgusting, and he works for me the way he works for all of you, and we're going to have a chat about it. I think it's gross. I think the way he treated her was horrible, but he treated all of them like this. It's absolutely gross.
It was passed by the legislature.
But this is an overreach that contradicts Indiana Home Rule Act, IC 36-1-3, which grants local governments broad powers.
Which we have limited regularly. So thank you for your testimony, but a little bit of hyperbole, which has been the problem of trying to find some solutions. And when you start telling people that they are violating their oath, some of us took a bullet for this country. So when you say those kind of things, that is more than offensive. So other questions? Thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome.
I don't know. So, okay. So wait a minute. So is he saying that he took a bullet for the country? Now we need to find, I need to find this out now. I need to find this out. So I hate the word hyperbole too. So that's funny that you mentioned that. There's a whole thing about it. So did you serve in the military, sir? If you did, thank you for your service. If you did, then you would know that you fought for my right to call you an asshole. And, explain that people fought for her right and served. People took a bullet for this country so she could stand up and speak her mind and redress her government. Now, I guess it's fine for you to act up and show your ass and do all of that. That's fine. But just understand that then you're going to be called out for it, because the difference is you're a public servant that works for us. And that's you weren't advancing the ball. You were punching down because you feel she's not up to your level because she's not an attorney or whatnot. I think she did a hell of a great job. Whoa. KIFPH 76. Whoa. Did this man serve or not serve? Are you telling me when he launched into all of that? Okay, so they're saying he did serve in Vietnam. Okay, so he was in Vietnam. Okay, great. So now we know that. I was getting ready to freak out there. I was going to be like, holy shit. If he's launching into all that and he wasn't in the military, that would be, oh God, that would be amazing. Okay, well, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. Great. I like this man. Listen, we're not going to play through all of this.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Well, I'll let a little bit of this go.
Mr. Bressel, good to see you as well. I'm a third generation Hoosier. My wife and I have 8 children, 3 of which are adults who are married, and combined they have had 6 of our grandchildren. I'm a landowner, farmer, realtor, businessman, and assistant pastor. Most of all, I'm a concerned citizen. I also speak for the concerned citizens that align with my ideology: Tippecanoe County, Carroll County, Clinton County, White County, Montgomery County, and the other 87 counties of Indiana, whose local residents are just as confused and upset just with the premise of this bill. Mr. Chairman, you said last week that we need to decide what Indiana is to become. I believe as a supermajority, Indiana can achieve the very foundation of what it means to be a free people with limited government. The very idea of Hoosier freedom is an act in which an individual has inalienable rights to his or her persons, property, lawful pursuits of desires. In Indiana, as well as other territories in our country, it is the duty of our elected officials to not allow anyone to infringe upon these rights. House Bill 1628 not only would infringe on these rights, in my opinion, by means of eminent domain not found in the language, but should be assumed, completely steamrolls over the local government, which acts as a first line of defense in protecting the free people of Indiana from higher governments. I find a large portion of the language found in HB 1628 very troubling for me and many others in my community, such as the ability to provide for the preemption of all other regulations by a political subdivision or a local government agency of the siting, construction, or deployment of any facilities, equipment, or infrastructure with respect to a multi-jurisdictional infrastructure project. The word preemption in context with the above bill reference simply is a legal doctrine that allows a higher level of government to limit, or even in some cases eliminate, the power of a lower level government to regulate a specific issue. The issues in question, if passed, is the ability for big corporations to streamline the process to essentially terraform entire areas inside small town Indiana and rural communities of Indiana like Tippecanoe County and Carroll County without consulting with the very people who lives in these communities. Sir, I believe that the job of a lawmaker, especially the Republican lawmakers of this body, is to limit the overreach of government. This bill was created by Representative Snow, who as a Republican, we the people expect to stand on conservative principles. I believe he missed the mark with this bill, and I'm not sure what or who motivated him, a conservative leader, to create such a gross violation of not only Republican conservative values, in my opinion, but also individual property rights, given the fact that with such a bill, eminent domain could rightly be assumed to come into play. In conclusion, as a solution,
I love this guy,
towards the salvaging of this bill, I would like to recommend that the preemptive language be stripped from the language of this bill. If not, I and my fellow concerned citizens would be disappointed that the chairman of this committee would allow this bill as is to be voted out of committee. In respect, Mr. Soliday, Chairman, to your amendment. So I would urge this committee to kill this bill right here and right now as is. Thank you for your time.
You said it could be modified, but then you said kill it.
No, I said that as is. If it's as is, with given the preemptive language, I'm sorry, in which I said I respect that you did amend it, but I believe the solution for me personally, I also represent friends of mine, Joe Sturm, who comes from Tippecanoe County, and also Mark Hufford, whose family was founding families
pushing
of
back
the,
on these. It's like he can't just let these people stand.
What I'm saying is, with this bill as is, with respect to the amendment, if the preemptive language is not removed, I believe it should be killed. Hopefully I cleared that up for you. Yes, sir. I think the people of Indiana should be above monetary gain. And I do understand the tax implications of that. Don't get me wrong. I just look like this. But I will say that outside of the money, the monetary gain, I think the people of Indiana, especially my county, or especially me, I would like to have a say-so in how we do it. It's not that I'm against solar. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
So you feel a county should be able to block?
I believe it is within, I believe it is within, with all due respect, I believe that it is within the rights of those people in that community that lives in that community, that knows their own community, to be able to have a say-so what we do in our community. You would like a yes or no? Of course.
Yes.
$10 billion pipeline. Three commissioners don't like it.
I think the three commissioners are backed by the very people that they represent. So I would say yes to your answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Kyle Barlow.
All right, we're gonna jump forward here.
I'll keep it short. I don't do all the
I
pleasantries.
think we've seen you before.
Many times. So I am a farmer from Shelby County. I'm also on the Shelby County Council. Been elected a little over 2 years now. And the reason I got onto the council and ran predominantly was how I was treated by my local elected officials about industrial solar. And therefore I decided that if they were going to listen to me, I had to sit on the other side of the table. So I'm against this bill, amendments and all. You can ask me whatever you want. Usually most people don't ask me questions, but I'm going to go right in here to the projected tax income that we talk about. I sat in a finance meeting in my county the other day. Our financial advisor said personal property tax could potentially go away in the next few years with legislation from the State House. That's what he said. That's what he said. Okay. If that happens, that is the only benefit our county gets from these projects. They try to abate taxes, and I'm going to do solar, but this bill really isn't just about solar or wind. It's about 8 different animals that we're trying to put into one bill. Pipelines. Pipeline went through my county many years ago. At that point, the county officials took care of it. So natural gas pipeline or LP, I'm not sure exactly which, went through farm ground. If personal property tax is repealed, and that's a big if, you keep talking about jobs. These are not local jobs. They don't stay here. There is a solar plant being built in Morristown, Indiana right now in my county. I implore you to please go and look at it. They have tore up the roads. They actually tore the drainage up to the point where our surveyor was there, and they told him to get off the property, to which our commissioners had to issue a stop work order and go up and hash all this out. This project has granted Shelby County $0 to my knowledge right now. 0.
Kick this along a little bit.
Full exposure to the taxes that this could generate in my lifetime.
I raise hay on that land, and it's for my cows. And yes, I understand solar panels and wind energy. I can get more return from those outside sources, but that violates the pride of being an Indiana farmer. I don't harness solar energy or wind energy. I grow crops. That's who my wife's family is. And that's who my family is. So I have 3 objections to this. I know it's a hard subject. We dealt with it in Carroll County. I get it. I know. But I do want to compliment our commissioner and our board of commissioners. They worked hard because it was a heated subject. And I don't envy you guys because this is a very difficult place. I want to show my respect and appreciation that
It's
you're
not,
willing
though.
to press into this. But the reality is I was here a week ago, and as I was walking off the steps out here, it just dawned on me that real life doesn't happen in that building, this building. Real life happens out there in the
Yes.
fruited plains of Indiana. And I know you guys are doing a hard job, and I appreciate that, but I do oppose this bill as it stands. I'm not opposed to solar or wind or advanced technologies like it's already been addressed, but I do oppose this. The reason, I have 3 reasons. The first I'll speed it up. The first one is farmland. I want to protect our farmland. The second one is one I didn't experience till I sat in here last week, and I was astounded. I felt like that approaching this subject is violating the very founding principles of America, and that is we the people by the people. It's my personal opinion. No disrespect to you. But it says representative ahead of each one of your names, and I think that means you represent some people back home. So does our local politicians, our local commissioners. What do they want? Because what I heard in here yesterday or a week ago and what I've heard this morning, I hear more concern about businesses wanting to come to this state. I'm okay with that. I'm pro-business, but don't do it at the expense of who you represent at home, please. I think your people are too high of character to make that mistake. But there are real people at home that put their pants on, that go out and do their job every day. Thank you, sir. Appreciate the time.
And so you actually speak for my constituents?
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
And for those of you that might not have heard what Soliday here said, Soliday said, so you speak for my constituents. Soliday, you don't think that, do you? Like, you're intelligent enough to know that he's never said that, right? No, he's speaking. He just said that they went through this back at home. Like, I could get up and speak on this, and I could go down there and I could speak for the many people, not even asking them, but I've heard them say the same things in Delaware County over and over and over and over again. I would have no problem going down and saying, I speak for a majority of the people back home in Delaware County because I've heard the people speak. I can name them. Now, they didn't give me permission to speak for them, and they can say what they want. And I'm never in a position where I'm trying to speak for them. I'm never in a position where I'm trying to speak for Tim Nickum or for GW or for Janet. They're capable for themselves, but I understand what they're wanting. You know, I understand what they don't want. And so this is nonsensical.
No, but I think your commissioners do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
That you want to talk about totally out of just nonsense behavior, what he just did there. That was perfect. How he responded to that. So you think you represent my constituents? And that man at the podium said, no, but your commissioners do. And listen to what Soliday does here when he says that. Listen.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the time.
And so you actually speak for my constituents?
You can speak.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying? Is that testimony?
No, but I think your commissioners do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Do they not? Do your commissioners? I'm confused. Do you mean in your 4th district? In the 4th district, Soliday, do you not have counties in the 4th district where you have commissioners that speak for their constituents? Or is that what that laugh was about? I think that they would find that highly inappropriate and extremely rude that you feel that you would be able to speak for them, saying that they don't speak for their constituents. That was extremely inappropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Hufford. How many of the acres that you farm do you own?
Do we own about 1,200 acres?
Permission for another question?
Sure.
So
I
you're
want to clarify,
concerned
I
that
want to
the,
clarify, our family owns 1,200 acres. My
So-
wife and I own a little over 100 acres ourselves personally.
but you said you farm thousands of acres. So
That's
you're
correct.
concerned that some of the owners of this ground could put it out to solar and therefore it would be inaccessible to you as a farmer to lease that ground for farming.
Correct, sir.
Any other questions? Yes.
Thank you for your testimony. And you're right, I have done all of those things that you listed. I sat on that side of the table as a local official too, as your fellow commissioners from Carroll County. I represent White County, which we share some water, which goes over into Carroll County. I guess my question is more of an observation, but when I was working with developers in our county, we had I won't go into all that, but we had people on both sides, obviously, of the issue. And what I didn't feel like I had the authority to do was, first of all, to understand the financial positions that some landowners were in.
Sure.
You're right. It's tough on the farm today. It's very tough financially. So what was brought to me is some families could own, say, 1,000 acres, as you said, and they wanted to bring that next generation back to the family farm. And they said, well, I'm willing to lease half of our 1,000 acres for a use that I'll get about 5 times the return I would from ag, take that dollar to bring the next generation back and also to expand our operation because now I have cash that I wouldn't have had otherwise. I'm not sure that's a question, but I think that's something to consider, whether we like that or not. I mean, if we're gonna believe in property rights, and those personal decisions, I struggled as a local official to try to make decisions that could adversely affect the financial well-being of property owners and citizens in my district. And I struggled with that. So in the end, I really relied on it's a local decision. I'm sorry, that was more of a comment than a question. But I do understand what you're saying, and it's a great example. But I think we have to be careful as local officials that we don't overstep to try to make decisions what we think might be best for others when in fact it might actually harm them.
I appreciate that. Can I make a brief comment?
Quite a bit of time.
Well,
I
but your
apologize.
people are
My neighbor talked about having solar, 6 acres next door to me. And I understand that, you know what I'm saying? He was looking into that option, but we have a relationship. And I think bringing it back to the local level, like you're suggesting, our commissioners know their neighbors. They're going to have to deal with the heat or the
Yes.
blessing, and neighbors just have to work it out. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
now. There were obviously a lot of people. There were people here that spoke pro. There were a lot of people that spoke for it. Amazingly, the doctor that keeps going to Delaware County.
Deaths from air pollution.
This gentleman.
That only adds weight to the community benefit.
He's been
that we'll get
speaking in
from
Delaware
renewable
County
energy.
here the last couple
So
of
I
meetings.
support broadly House Bill 1628. I did prefer it before the amendments restricting what land could be used, but I'm broadly in support of House Bill 1628.
Thank you, sir. Questions for the witness? You testified last week. Who are you? Who are you? Yeah, you testified.
I never testified.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. And thanks, Mr. Pressel, for seeing me wave at you over there. I'm the one that printed all the binders in front of you. Thank you, committee members. And without reading the amendment for myself, I'm going to move forward with my speech as I wrote it. I do appreciate the protections of farmland, but it does not protect property values, health, safety, and wells. My name is Denise Spooner. I provided those binders. I'm a licensed real estate broker of 20 years in Indiana and a farmer's daughter. I served a year on Madison County's Board of Zoning Appeals, 3.5 years on planning, and I served on all the solar subcommittee meetings. I believe the majority of Hoosiers were thrilled to hear that Trump was going to kill the Green New Deal and that our state is exploring nuclear and natural gas. We want reliable, affordable, 24/7 dispatchable energy. But House Bill 628 lumps all these power sources together. I oppose because renewables is a part of this bill, and I believe home rule should be upheld in Indiana. Indiana has done its share for renewables. The first few pages of the binder covers that, and we do rank 20th in the U.S. Regarding solar and property values, perhaps you aren't aware that homeowners are being engulfed inside massive industrial solar plants. It surrounds them on all three sides and across the road. No matter what window you look from or door they exit, their view is 6-foot chain link fence, barbed wire, and 15 to 20-foot solar panels. Some of them have to drive miles before they can exit this solar plant. In Madison County, an appraiser told a homeowner that was surrounded, you might as well bulldoze your house and sell the land to the developer because it would be worth nothing. No one will buy it. I have testified as an expert in several counties and hearings, and my name, not any name from the solar industry, of those appraisers appears in the Indiana Court of Appeals decision in Mammoth Solar versus Ehrlich that gave the citizens standing as having proved their property values would be injured. The courts have already validated injury, and right now the evidence has shown up to 30% decline.
Yeah,
and this is
doctor,
based on much smaller megawatt
Janet.
of solar plants and where homes are only impacted on one side. This is
The
the
guy
truth.
from-
No damage study has been performed on these homes that are engulfed and completely surrounded, but we're working on it. I've provided you a few documents from Kentucky's leading industry expert. Her name is Mary McClinton Clay. She has nearly 40 years experience in damage studies, eminent domain cases, has survived a Darbert challenge and never lost a single court case in her entire career. The state of Ohio Power Siting Board has taken her testimony, and I implore you to look at her impressive resume in the binder. When she appears in person over solar, the projects are denied. Last week, GeneX was here and implied that it could not be proven that solar injures property values. I had this expert specifically write to all of you an explanation that it can, and it has been a part of the real estate industry for decades. This is nothing new. There's been lots of litigation over eminent domain and other situations. Her letter is in the binder. Homeowners are protected under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution, and attorneys have advised and cautioned us about unfair taking lawsuits. If you take away local control over wind and solar, this could follow like Ohio, where they ended up passing Senate Bill 52 and gave local control back because of the amount of lawsuits and overwhelming opposition that came at the state.
The
And
guy from
75
Europe.
counties are suing in the state of Michigan because of home rule being taken away over wind and solar. There has to be reasonableness in ordinances, and that is our first guide when explained in the Indiana Citizens Planner Guide, specifically to follow our comprehensive plans, protect health, welfare, safety, and property values in both directions. And you guys, if you would just read a waiver of liability and an indemnification clause in a solar lease, this would explain a lot. I've included one lease in there. I have many of them. For sake of printing, I just included one, but just listen to this. Owner acknowledges that certain aspects inherent to the operation of a solar energy facility may result in nuisance, such as visual impacts, increased noise levels, glare, other possible effects of electrical generation, EMF, and transmission, including without limitation, potential interference with radio, television, telephone, mobile phone, or other electronic devices. That could be a pacemaker. Owner understands and has been informed by the grantee that these project facilities on the property may result in a nuisance and hereby accepts such a nuisance, and owner waives its right to object to such a nuisance, provided that the grantee complies with its obligations in the agreement. How many times did a developer just call their own project a nuisance? And if you aren't aware, EPA scientist Mark Striner has released 39 records proving that GenX PFAS chemicals are on solar panels. There's many utility judges across the U.S. that have testified about this and wanted it out of the solar panels. Regarding farm ground, thanks Representative Culp for your study, but it didn't take into consideration solar. There's new studies, they're in your binders, how we cannot farm again. I know I'm out of time, but I'm asking that you please look at the information that I have provided you.
I love what she says.
Land sprawl, land use, energy sprawl is the greatest land use change right now in the United States. There's a study in your binder on it. If you have a 100 megawatt, takes 1,500 acres. Same thing for 10,000 acres for wind. But what can we do with gas and nuclear? It's a much smaller footprint on that. Please ask me questions.
Please ask me questions. And then they don't.
Being done, thank you. Okay, Ms. Rockmont, if you want to testify, wherever you went.
They weren't interested in hearing what they didn't even listen to her. They did not even listen to what she had to say. They didn't care. And that's really a shame. That's really a shame because she is really on point with her, just with everything that she has. She was really on point. She is very intelligent, highly intelligent with this matter. She's been dealing with this for a very, very, very long time. And I want to read to you a statement that she put up 9 hours ago. I'm going to put this on screen but I'm going to read this to you because I'm putting it on screen. Before I read this, I do want to say this. K76, subscribe to the channel before you go. It doesn't cost anything. You know how it works. It's YouTube. But subscribe to the channel so you can stick around, because I don't know who you are, but you seem to be on point, and I think that we all might be able to benefit back and forth from you being a part of this community. Let's go here. I want to read this to you. I know we're going long. I'm sorry. Let me get through this, and it'll just take me 5 minutes to tell you about what happened in 1186, and then we'll wrap up. We'll be done in a few minutes. I'm sorry this was long, but this was a lot of information to get out of. All right, so let's go from here. All right. This is Denise's statement she put up. Long post warning. Sorry. Today's thoughts on House Bill 1628. Snow, author of the bill, began the hearing stating there was change that would make the bill better and seeks to accomplish what they want. Of course, because he is the scapegoat, whatever you call the person that wrote the bill admitted that they didn't like, but was pushed into doing it. Soliday, the real author of the bill, took over to explain the amendments to the bill. Soliday's behavior towards those that oppose this was beyond unprofessional. The sarcasm, the condescending, antagonistic comments were shocking, to say the least. It certainly isn't becoming of a representative of all the people. I wouldn't be surprised if he threw my binder in the trash on the way out. Absolutely. Yeah. He was rude, and it was unbecoming, and it was just it's mind-boggling how his behavior was. His laughter at the comment about the commissioners from his area is just, that's nuts to me. I checked online, and there is no amendment in writing posted yet. Amazing. From the hearing, solar projects can use more than 2% of the county's land unless agreed to by both the commissioners and the petitioners. Prime farmland is exempt, and that carries the USDA soil grading of 1 to 4. Solar can only be placed on marginal quality farmlands rated 5 to 8. However, all of this can be ignored if your county commissioners want solar and simply agree to covering the county. And let's be clear, we're only talking about 2 people. It's not 3. We don't need 3 people. We just need 2 people in your county to agree. Okay. However, all of this can be ignored if your county commissioners want solar and agree to covering the county. Hint, it is important to vote out pro-solar commissioners if you don't want your county to become a sea of black glass. I posted a photo of the USDA map so that you can see the quantity of prime farmland throughout the counties. But in order to truly evaluate soil type, you have to look at the USDA website on soil surveys. Books were published for each county when I was on the solar subcommittee and participating in drafting our solar ordinance. We wanted to limit solar on our prime farmland. We dived into solar surveys, and I took a trip with our planning director to our local USDA office to try and understand where and what kind of soils Madison County contained. It was very interesting to learn about soils, and I was shocked to learn that these soil surveys are very dated. A book was published on each county, internet link below to all the books. I found a used copy on eBay for Madison County, and it's dated March of 1967. At the bottom photo below, I wanted my own book to do proper research for my county, so I bought a physical copy. Doing soil surveys is a massive endeavor, but I asked how do we know if these classifications are still accurate today? The local USDA office just stated, paraphrasing, this is what we go by. We can visit the field, talk to the farmers, and investigate. If anything, over the years, we would expect the land to be better. But what if a farmer let his land go? What if in conservation what if it's in conservation now and no longer farmed? critical thinking here. Much has changed in Madison County since 1967. It is interesting to understand many lands are considered prime if drained. So then how do you know if the land is drained or not? I was told by numerous farmers that most of our farmland is drained. There are tiles everywhere throughout farmland and all over our state. Some we know about and some we don't. Some are very, very old clay tiles. Some are new and maybe are noted on maps that could be in the surveyor's office. Ultimately, it could be a guessing game where a simple trip to the field and surveyor's office solves the mystery, or it could end up in an argument in a court case. Who knows? And to be very honest here, Madison County is part of the grouping of 12 counties in Indiana with over 90% of its land designated as prime. It was a sigh of relief to me because it's easier to prove we have great land that needs protecting. I have not dug into understanding these soil classifications of grading land 1 through 8. I have no clue what particulate in the soil particle in the soil makes it a grade 4 and thus protected to a grade 5. Oops, you're screwed. Here comes solar. My point in explaining soil surveying and the classifications in grades 1 through 8 is that this can be easy or get very complicated. Bottom line for me, I'm tired. I've researched tons on this solar crap and I'm trying to understand soil classifications and grades. Well, y'all, it's above this gal's pay grade, which is 0, nil zip. All my service in Madison County in the state of Indiana has been volunteer. Here's the link for Indiana, and she's got the link there. Here's the link to find info on any state in the U.S., general info on soil surveys. I will copy all of those links, and I will put the links in the description of this episode when we're done. I've also got to put a thumbnail up and put the description up. I haven't done that yet. I was way behind, so I'm sorry. I'll get that done when we're done. Personally, especially if this bill passes, I would love a Zoom meeting with some farmers that understand this topic better than I do. I think the amendments could be helpful to those counties, Pulaski, Blackford County, that have been invaded like no other. But will the bill, if passed, be applied retrospectively, or will those applications that have been approved be built? Who knows? I would think if I was a solar developer that these amendments would really hinder, if not stop, solar in a massive way. My opinion right now, it could change with further discussion with farmers, is that solar industry should be mad and pushing back hard on those farmland amendments. Looking at the map below, the counties in white and the lightest shade of blue would be a place the industry could go. But those in south shaded in white do not have the topography for solar. Those areas in the national forestry areas, rolling hills and tough topography, the solar industry wants our nice, flat, prime farmland. So I don't know. And I half wonder if something isn't up with these bills. I never trust our government, and for the representative who has always been such a staunch advocate for renewables to make such a drastic amendment to limit solar setting, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense to me. Ding, 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 ding. That has been an issue here. What is the deal here? It's very strange. I love that she's talking about that. Regarding solar and the state's attempt to take over, there is so much not being discussed. The massive size of solar and wind projects, property values, health, welfare, safety, well testing, recycling, decommissioning, partial or full public utility status, tax exemption, tax abatements, and more. Our state legislators believe they know better than the local government. Without watching the video and typing this verbatim, I will paraphrase a moment that really struck nerve with me. Soliday talking and in his arrogant huffing tone blasted out, "Humph. This issue, energy, impacts the entire state. And when that happens, the decision cannot be left with local government who thinks they know more about energy sitting." My 2 cents. Soliday has been pro-renewable from day one. Check his campaign donations. That's what Kate and I told you last night or the night before. He has been getting money from these people for quite some time now. He has attempted for years to take away local control on renewable issues. So he listens more to all the whining and complaints from the wind and solar industry, their lobbyists, their leaders, and such. He beats the drum hard on one side and only the side of the property rights of those signing the wind and solar leases, and to hell with the rest of us that are negatively impacted. He fails to understand property rights go in both directions. His perspective is one-sided, and he's too jolted and damaged to listen to any reasoning from anyone in opposition. In his mind, which is 100% made up, we are all stupid. Absolutely. Stupid, NIMBY idiots and total morons that he feels the need to talk down to any chance he can get. He is above us and above reproach. He has taken the years of the complaints and whinings from the renewable cowards and applied it to all energy sources, and they're sitting. So now some of Indiana leaders have pushed back on renewables. Number one, Braun, who said he wants reliable and affordable energy for Indiana, and we know that wind and solar is neither. Two, Todd Houston, Speaker of the House in Indiana, said the IBJ Energy Summit that renewables are intermittent and not reliable. Trump, whom Indiana chose so that we could end the Green New Scam and stop this invasion. So with this latest election, Indiana finally gets a chance to explore reliable, affordable energy like nuclear and natural gas. And what happens? We are excited and looking forward to explore better energy choices. But Representative Soliday lumps it all together in a bill and takes the county's local control away and the opportunities to properly site all energy projects. The county's opportunities to support renewable, affordable natural gas and nuclear endeavors are squandered because of the complaints by the renewable energy industry. We, local governments, do not get the chance to even be a part of the decision, thanks to the tone that has been set by the state over the battle with renewable energy in Indiana. As much as I have tried to get my speech within 4 minutes, it's impossible. I'm not good at simplifying and condensing these issues as much as I try. And if asked what my solution would be, if these bills pass and take away local control, Governor Mike Bruan needs to veto them. Abso-freaking-lutely. And, we'll have to talk about that when that gets there. But that is something that we have to push on hard. And I mean, like, getting off of our asses, calling in work, going down to the State House, making a scene and being seen. He told us that it was absolutely for local control. He needs to create an energy task force, bring together a few of the best of each county, a member of the commissioner's board, planning director of each county, president of the planning commission, and or president of the BZA, and top real estate brokers specializing in commercial residential real estate, and a citizen member of the county who has shown wise education leadership on these topics. Have these people evaluate their county land, brownfields, brownlands, remote lands, and answer a list of questions about energy sitting and figure out where can we best site a renewable energy project. Some counties may not be able to do much, while others could do some, but other counties could absolutely be of help. Have the data compiled and organized for the governor, and have some meetings that include local government conservations and advocate for our citizens. It's about communication, education, presenting accurate data and information, and working together to create a plan for the future of Indiana's energy. The state doesn't know what's best when they do not give a voice to its people at the table, squander their concerns, ridicule them, put them down, insult opposing views at every opportunity. You can learn from anyone, even someone you do not like or respect or detest. And if you are in a leadership role, an elected official, or represent others to be effective, you must lay aside biases, preconceived notions, and remain humble and teachable for those that you represent. It's hard, I know. Making zoning decisions is difficult and gut-wrenching. Sometimes growth and development hurts. I will agree with Representative Soliday on one of his statements. Nobody gets everything they want. This is true, but I also believe that impacts the disappointed. I also believe that the impacts of the disappointed are lessened when those impacted get invited to the table to speak their concerns when constructive conversations are held. Mitigating impacts by reasonable conditions being applied to projects, and we work together for solutions. I've always said a big issue here is people just feel like they want to be heard. If you jam something down my throat and don't give me a chance to have a say, I'm going to be pissed off, and you're never going to make that right. But if you jam something down my throat and at least allow me to be heard, well, at least I feel like you've heard me. But so many of these people just say, to hell with you, we're going to do what we want, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And that is not the way to do this. This is not going to happen in 4 minutes in a public meeting and when hours are given behind closed doors to certain lobbyists, developers, and special interests in private corporations. I was cut off yesterday, so here's my entire speech for the meeting yesterday on House Bill 1628. I'm also posting a pic of the contents of the binders that I gave them. And then she's got I'm not going to read the entire speech. Holy crap. I'm shocked that she was able to get this into a Facebook message. This is impressive, Denise. This is absolutely impressive. So, what I will do is, for those that maybe want to read this more in depth, if she's posted on social media, I will copy and paste it, and I will put it in Drive, and I will put a link to it so you guys can see it. I don't know if she has her Facebook open to all. I would assume she does, maybe at least this post. But I will copy and paste this, and I will put it in Drive so you guys can all see it along with all of her information. Here's her pictures that she put up. Okay, and then here's all of this. So I'll put this in the descriptions so you guys can see this. I want to thank Denise for all of her work. Denise is a badass. Thank you very much for everything. For all of you guys that did this, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This was fantastic. So they ended the committee yesterday, basically, is what they did. They stepped away from the committee. Essentially what happened was the session started, and they said that they would come back. He talked about possibly coming back in the afternoon. They did not do that. They never came back in the afternoon. So what will happen from here is there will be another committee date set, and I assume at that point it will only be for any possible amendments or to deal with the amendments, and then I assume they will vote on it. I assume that's what will happen, and it'll be a yes or no. I mean, I feel like I know where it's going to go. I feel like you guys all know the way it's going to go. Soliday already has his mind made up, and I feel like a good portion of them will probably be right along with him. Nothing stops us from going ahead and continuing to contact all of the elected officials, email all 100 representatives, email all 50 state senators, talk to all of them, tell them that you're against this, tell them that it doesn't matter what it is, that we need as much local control as possible, and we do not want them to take local control away. We demand that any bill put forward where they are taking local control, our public servants need to vote no on. I don't care what it is. No. Period. Stop. That needs to be a no-go. And that's just something that, in my opinion, that's a non-negotiable. on that. We can talk about a lot of different things, and there can be a lot of people that, have opinions on this or that, but local control, I'm not okay with giving the federal government in anything from the state level. I'm not okay with giving the state anything from the local level. And that's why I consider myself a constitutionally leaning libertarian, because I'm not okay with giving anybody control over me, period. So that's just the way I feel on that. And it is what it is. So we'll keep our eye on this and we'll see what happens. All right. Okay. The post is okay. So the post is public, so you can see it. But what I will do, I will copy and paste just so people can read that. I'll put that in Drive, and I will link it in the description of this episode, so you guys will be able to see that. Okay. All right. Moving on from here, the last thing that I want to talk about before we wrap up. I know we've been going a long time. Thank you for hanging out. I'm sorry about this. The last thing I want to talk about is 1186, House Bill 1186. They put through an amendment yesterday. I have people asking me, they're putting through a 12th or 13th, 14th amendment on this. Is that normal? Well, you heard on Senate Bill 01, they put through like a 17th amendment. So yeah, it's pretty normal. It's whatever it is to get it done. They put through that amendment. I know that police officer Elias Donker really went down there and fought and did what he could to try to make a difference. In the end, I don't think it's doing what a lot of people wanted it to do. They voted on it, and I think they voted on that. I think it was 11-0. I think one person was absent. It was either 10 or 11-0, whatever. There's 13 members. It passed. It now goes on to the full House. So, we need to be reaching out to them. We can still reach out to all 100 representatives, all 50 senators. Tell them if it gets to you, vote. We've still got a chance to kill it when it goes to the full vote, or if it goes to the Senate, we've got a couple chances, but the hill keeps getting steeper. They did vote on it. It sucks. I knew it was going to happen. The same situation is this. They're going into this with their mind already made up. We have said so much on 1186. There's not really a whole bunch more to say at this point, other than we need to continue fighting and waiting to see what else they push on it. So that's where we are with our state House review of the Indiana General Assembly. I love where Denise says in her statement for 1628 that she does not trust the government. When you used to say things like that, people would look at you and that would make you crazy. That would make you a crazy person. It does not make you crazy. It makes you beautifully intelligent. You should not trust these people. They've not given you any reason to trust them. Not at the local level, not at the state level, and not at the federal level. So we must educate ourselves. We must continue to grow our channel, grow our outside sources, grow our friendships, grow our networks. We must continue to stay active, stay involved. We're in an off year, no election going on, but that doesn't mean we just lay back and do nothing. You see that we're fighting, carrying on. We need to start planning who we're going to run for the county offices in 2026, folks. We need to start planning it. It's time to talk about it. Time's going to get away from us. And I'm telling you, you're going to be watching a show in January of 2026, and I'm going to be saying, hey, it's time to file right now. And we're going to be like, wait a minute, what happened? You need to start planning right now. If you need help talking about this, contact me, contact Kate. We'll help you, and we'll see what we can do. All right, you guys, tomorrow night, we're going to be doing some stuff on Muncie. We're going to be doing some stuff on some record request, just overall corruption, dirty, nasty government, and I'm going to be bringing it to you. Thank you all for tuning in. I am sorry that this has been kind of a crazy night. I apologize for not getting your comments up. Thank you for everyone that was watching and commenting over there on the right-hand side. If you're watching in the future, you can comment down below. We will get back to you. Please, before you go out, hit the like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And it doesn't cost you anything. Click the bell so you get notified when we go live or when we drop shorts or whatever. We are live 5 nights a week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I think this week I'm actually going to be able to take off Friday and Saturday. Thank God. I'm so tired. I needed like a 2-day break. You can follow us on social media, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, X. It's all there. Follow us. Our studio line is there. Our email is there. I'm going to have to put my Signal thing on there. Someone asked me if I'm on Signal. Hell yeah, we're on Signal. You can contact me any way that there is to contact people out there. I just got to figure it out. But we're all there. Thank you guys very much. God bless each and every one of you. Jesus Christ is King, and that is above all else. So you guys take care. Have a great evening. Have a great Thursday, and we will see you back here at 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. Just the same. Take care. Good night. Goodbye.